Okay, I'm live now. Alright, I can see Sister Maria. Assalamualaikum.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Sister Maria boleh, can you hear me and can you see me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Alright, I can see and can hear you too.
All right.
Okay, sorry for the delay everyone. It was my fault. I was looking for my earphone. I couldn't find it. Alhamdulillah, I found it. Okay. Inshallah, it's done. Okay. Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Read with Tertib. Today is episode 21, if I'm not mistaken. We have Sister Maria here with us. And today we'll be discussing another names of Allah from the book of from Dr. Jinan Yusuf, reflecting on the names of Allah from this book. So, Assalamualaikum, Mira Marit. Hi. Okay, Sister Maria, what do we have today?
Okay. We have three names from two chapters.
Okay.
Chapter is As-Samad, and another one chapter I will reveal later.
All right. Okay, Sister Maria, the floor is yours.
All right. So As-Samad, the eternal refuge, is on the page 156. What is the definition? The Arabic root sod mim dal, which means remain firm and steadfast. Al-Ghazali said Al-Samad is the one to whom one turns in need and the one who is intended in our desires. For ultimate dominion culminates in him. And Ibn Al-Qayyim states that he is also the one to whom the hearts flee, both in hope and reverence. Reverence means a feeling of attitude, a feeling or attitude of this deep respect tinged with awe or veneration. He is the one and only to whom we turn for all our needs. From Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, this is from page 158. Okay. Young man, I will teach you some words. Be mindful of Allah and He will protect you. Be mindful of Allah and you will find Him before you. If you ask, ask from Allah. If you seek help from Allah. Know that if the nations gathered together to benefit you, they will not benefit you unless Allah has decreed it for you. And if the nations gathered together to harm you, they will not harm you unless Allah has decreed it for you. The pens have been lifted and the pages have dried. This is from Tirmidhi. All right. Since we are talking about Allah as-Samad, I want to take a few lessons from this other book that I read a few years ago called
Okay.
Ben. Yeah, when I took this book from the shelves of Kinokuniya, I didn't know what to expect. This is a book written by a British atheist who have lived in Indonesia for 20 years. And he speaks
Wow.
Javanese fluently. So he can speak
Mm.
Indonesian, he can speak Javanese. When he can speak the local language, I could believe that whatever he writes is at least he reports directly from the people of Java Island. Okay, so
Yeah.
what is it about? Okay, this is about ritual practices around Java Island in Indonesia that mainly focus around tombs and mausoleums of famous or legendary people of the past. he spoke about a few of the Wali Songo and their mystical powers, and also a few other people, and even someone who lives recently, like Mbah Marijan from, I think, Gunung Merapi or something, one of the volcanoes. They did. A lot of people come to all these places, all these tombs. They do some rituals, and they are done as a way to get what they need or what they want. For example, they want to get married, they want to have children, they want to have more money, or they have a lot of debts that they have to overcome, or sometimes their children are sitting for exams and they want to get into universities. Sometimes other matters like taking revenge on other people, or crushing another person, crushing their own enemy, or even to win an election. So some of the politicians actually visit some of those holy sites, so-called, to actually win an election. And apparently, one of the richest men in Indonesia also visited some of the sites there to get, more money. So people think that that site is holy because this guy became a multi-millionaire or billionaire or something. So people actually believe that this site can help them to be richer. So yeah, they actually, the visitors come from not just Indonesia but also sometimes from Malaysia as well. They go to the graves, they pray, and they read Quran, and they read Yasin, and a lot of other rituals as well. With a lot of flowers and stuff. And they hope that the dead people can help them to get blessings from Allah.
Mm.
Yeah. So but if you look at their living situations, um I think they did this out of desperation and also out of ignorance as well. So their education and the worldly education and also religious education are both lacking, probably, so that they couldn't, they are desperate to make it in this world. So they just have to do anything to get money and to get more education and all that. So that's why they do it. But maybe they don't know that this is shirk. Because some of them explain why they're doing this and why they believe that this is not shirk and everything. But with us Somat, you have to depend only on Allah, and we know that the dead also can't do anything to help anyone because they also
Yeah.
probably need from their children. So I think from this book, we could see that it's very important for us as human beings to help each other, so that other people won't fall into shirk because of their desperation. And it is also important to educate ourselves and the people around us so that we should only rely on Allah for every need of us, even for the smallest of needs. And we could see from the hadith in page 158, you should ask Allah for all of your needs, even if the strap of your sandal breaks. So,
Yeah.
so we depend on Allah for everything. Of course, we need human beings because you can't just. Hello, are you there? Okay.
I
Yeah,
am here, but your video is it my video or your video?
because your video was loading just now, so now
Loading. Okay.
now it's okay, right?
Okay. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Of course, we have to work to get things mended and everything, but it's Allah's help that will make it easier for us. Um, so that is a Samad. Okay. How do we live with this name? It's page 159. 159. We must. Yep. There are a few ways. Number one is we go to Allah with every need and rely on Him. So, knowing that He is unshakable, that He is eternal, and that He is the refuge should give us confidence in Him and help us to turn to Him for all our needs. Number 2, be a refuge for people and remind them of God. This is what I was saying just now. We have to allow people to turn to us and offer them our help. And the Prophet ﷺ said, the best of people are those that bring most benefit to the rest of mankind. So, yeah. And then number 3 is we need to learn his names. One way of being certain that God is As-Samad is by learning his other names and attributes. In some ways, this name becomes a gateway to understanding his other names because it contains so many meanings. When we put the effort to become close to God, his attributes become more apparent to us. Because we will learn from the next chapter that I'm going to discuss about that As-Samad and these other 2 attributes or names are about that they overlap with each other. Okay? Right. So the next chapter that I'm talking about is chapter 21, page 170. That is Al-Qarib and Al-Mujib. So this chapter is quite long and it has a lot of wonderful Quranic verses and hadiths. And you can check it out in the book.
Yes.
Yes. So Al-Qarib, the definition is on page 171. It's very simple. The Al-Qarib means the near one. So he is close in his knowledge of us and his knowledge of the secrets of our hearts and thoughts in our minds and in his watching over us and being with us. Okay? So that is the meaning of Allah's closeness to us. This closeness is not a physical closeness. We have to remember that when Allah said He is close, it means that His knowledge of us is His knowledge of our secrets and our thoughts, and He's watching over us as well. So Allah cannot be contained physically, but He is even closer to us than someone who is sitting on. And in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayat 186, Allah said, if my servants ask you about me, I am here. Alright, so next question is, how close is Allah to us? This is in page 172. There are a few questions. If you have ever wondered, does God really hear me? He answers in Surah Sabah, ayat 50. Indeed, He is hearing and near. And if you have ever questioned whether He would hear the supplications of your heart, He tells us in Surah Hud, indeed, my Lord is near and responsive. That is ayat 61. And if you ever felt lonely, Allah says in the Quran, Surah Al-Hadid, and He is with you wherever you are. That is ayat 4. And I would like to quote Imam Suhaib Webb when he said a few times. He said, if you feel far from Allah, ask yourself who moved. Allah is always near. Okay. And then we talk about the next name, which is in the same chapter, who is Al-Mujib. Who is Al-Mujib? He is the answerer of prayers and the one who responds. The only one who can give us what we need and want. Although we seek help from Allah, it does not negate the necessity of working with the means we have. The means we have of this world are provided by Allah, and He requires to work with them. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ gave example that if he has something to do, he will prepare for everything he needs, and his advice from his companions, and he asks from Allah. So he does everything. So that's what we need to do as well. For example, if we have an exam, we should prepare for the exam, we study, and then we sought advice, meaning that we should talk to our teachers, we should talk to our friends, how they are doing things and how we're doing things. And then we pray and we ask from Allah so that it will make it easy for us and He will make us successful in our exams or in whatever that. Talking about dua, sometimes we sometimes someone might think that we can be complacent, we don't need to do anything, we just have to pray. But actually, Islam is not a religion of complacency. Knowing that Allah is Al-Mujib should actually increase what we think we can achieve, and both in this world and the next, because we know that He answers. So what we are responsible for is the effort. Meaning, knowing that Allah can give us anything and anything is possible for Him, we could strive for better things and bigger things. Things that we think that might be possible for us, but with Allah's help, it can be achievable.
Sure.
So we have to ask Him for for the ways to do it, to meet us with the people who can give advice, and to help us achieve whatever things that we want to achieve. So the name of Al-Mujib should inspire us to be spiritually ambitious, because we know that Allah will aid us. So I'm going to quote a few hadiths in this book about Allah Al-Mujib and Allah Al-Mujib. On page 174, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "When one of you supplicates or make dua, let him be determined in the supplication, and he should not say, 'O Allah, give me if you will.' There is none to curse Allah." From Bukhari and Muslim. Imam Al-Nawawi said, being determined here means to have good expectations of Allah Almighty in answering. Ibn Atta'illah said, if in spite of intense supplication, there is delay in the timing of the gift, let that not be the cause for your despairing. For He has guaranteed you a response in what He chooses for you, and not in what you choose for yourself, and at the time He desires, not the time you desire. So just keep on making the dua. Hadith number 2 is on page 175. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Verily, your Lord is generous and shy. If His servant raises his hands to Him in supplication, He becomes shy to return them. Therefore, we should be confident that Allah will respond to us." Hadith number 3 in page 179. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "The du'as of any worshipper will continue to be responded to as long as he does not ask for a sin or breaking the ties of kinship, and as long as he is not hasty." So then someone asked, "O Messenger of Allah, what does it mean to be hasty?" And he responded, "A worshipper says, 'I have prayed, and I don't see that it will be accepted,' so he gives up hope of being answered and leaves his." Meaning we should not give up on our prayers. We do not put a time limit on when Allah should respond. And He is Al-Mujib, and He's also Al-Hakim, the wise. So perhaps we hate a thing and God puts good in it. And perhaps we love a thing and it is bad for us. And one might ask, think bad for us. So when we have faith that Allah will answer, we will get more than that for which we ask. And because Allah gives us what we need and what is best. So much so that we may even forget that thing for which we were asking in. So it doesn't mean we get what we ask or the time that we get. Whatever we get will make us happy and is the best. Hadith number 4, page 180. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, There is no Muslim who calls upon Allah without sin or cutting family ties, but that Allah will give him one of three answers. He will quickly fulfill his supplication, he will store it for him in the hereafter, or he will divert an evil from him similar to it. The companions said, in that case, we will ask for more. And the Prophet said, Allah has even more. So just keep on asking, keep on making dua. And yes, so the summary of this hadith is basically it's a yes or later, or you will be given something else, or protected from some kind of evil. And Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Allah has even more. Meaning that no matter how much we ask, Allah has even more than that.
Inshallah.
And in another beautiful hadith, we are told of a believer who appeared not to receive that for which they were asking God in this world. So this believer keep on asking, and it doesn't appear like Allah has responded to his du'as. And when the day of judgment comes, this person is admitted to paradise. And he finds that the answer to his supplications were deferred to paradise. You know, he saw that he was rewarded for his dua, and he was waiting for him in paradise, where they were even greater than what he had ever imagined. And then he wished that none of his supplications had ever been answered. So basically, the lesson from this hadith is just keep making du'as. Ask Allah for everything we need and we want, because we have nothing to lose. So every dua is actually rewarded by Allah, because it signifies our faith and our trust. So when we trust Him, Allah will reward us for our trust. Alright, so I'm done with the chapter.
You're done?
Yeah, I have something else as well from
Okay.
I posted it on my story the other day, but I have reformatted the whole article. But
Okay.
because this Ustad Dr. Shadi Al-Masri, he spoke about doubts in making dua, because I think most of us have doubted ourselves and asked ourselves whether is this dua too much, or am I asking too much? Am I asking too dunya things, and they're asking impossible things, and do I deserve this and all that. So he actually answered all those doubts, and in a very clear manner. I think it's important, as we are approaching the end of Ramadan and have a lot of chance to make dua, and especially this is rainy season, so there's rain and fasting and the last 10 nights and sahur and breakfast. There's a lot of chance to make dua, so it's okay to make big duas, and we'll see what happens, of course, with some efforts as well. Okay, number one, if someone does not know or does not understand about Allah's attributes, he makes dua or try to make dua, and I will say, no, this is impossible. The answer to that doubt is, not only is everything possible for Allah, it is easy for Him. So whatever we ask actually is easy for Allah to do, but of course there will be some effort from our side as well. But no matter what we are thinking of doing or achieving, it's easy for Allah to do, to help us to do it. Okay. Doubt number two. Shaitan will put guilt in us and say, you have too many sins. We are too sinful to ask from Allah. we feel that we don't deserve to ask from him because of our, what we have done before, what we are still doing now and probably going to do later. But we this is we should actually make dua while drawing in our mind the generosity of the giver and not the purity of the asker. Basically, we have to keep in mind that Allah is generous. No matter who we are, Allah is generous. And if sinlessness is a condition, nobody will ever have the right to make the dua. Okay? And so make dua, of course, if we make tawbah, actually, I think I read somewhere that it's easier for our du'as to be answered because, we clean ourselves. Number 3, a false dichotomy. Sometimes you might say to yourself, there are people dying of hunger. Pray for them instead of yourself. Because we feel like there's a lot of suffering in this world, and you're asking for more money, you're asking for more, worldly achievement. But actually, we can ask, we can make dua for them and for us. There's nothing wrong with that. We shouldn't limit ourselves to making duas for other people only, and also we shouldn't limit ourselves from making duas only for us, because the more whenever we make dua for other people, the angels will say amin, and for us too. So meaning that sometimes we do get what we pray for others. So if we pray that, may Allah ease this person's project or something, so our life got easy as well. And there are a few things, other things as well. Sometimes if we ask for someone to get children, suddenly we get children, and those things happen actually. So we can always pray for anyone, everyone. Okay, the next question or doubt that Shaitan or Iblis can put in ourselves. Sometimes they misuse the words in the Quran or the ayat in the Quran. They will whisper to us that maybe it's not good for you, since Allah said a person prays for something bad thinking it's good. We don't know, but because we might pray for something and it's bad for us, maybe. But maybe we pray for something but it's good for us, but we don't know about that, right? So leave the future to Allah, and what's important is we make our best judgment and go forward without hesitating. Okay, the next whisper of Shaitan, they will say, don't get too attached to the dunya. When we are asking for seemingly dunya or materialistic things. But the answer to that is, nothing you get through Allah is ever bad, no matter how materialistic it seems. If you recognize Allah as the giver, then you will be saved from His harm. Meaning that if we keep on asking Allah for example, for successful business, so we open a restaurant or something, and then we want the restaurant to be successful. It looks materialistic, but actually when we ask from Allah, Allah will give it to us in a halal way, in a safe way, and it's going to be full of barakah as well, because we depend only on Him. So it looks dunya, it looks materialistic. Maybe after we ask Allah, and we depend on Allah, so we will start to give more charity, the money, and the money is full of barakah. Our children maybe they might have good manners, and they will take care for us when we are older, and they will always be good to us. And if we ask from Allah, but if that is something that we should trust Allah to do. Number 6, sometimes Shaitan will say, don't get your hopes up, because if it doesn't happen, you will be devastated. Yeah, sometimes you're talking about asking Allah for something that is difficult for us, that is impossible for us. But and then Allah, Shaitan doesn't want us to make those du'a. Shaitan doesn't want us to depend on Allah. So they will just say that, don't hope too much, you will get frustrated because, you have so much hope. Why would you want to do this? It's impossible and everything. But the answer is, does anyone think Allah will see you have hope in Him and then let you down? Even if He answers you by another means, such as removing a calamity or redirecting your hearts elsewhere, it will make you happy. And the end result of a fervent dua will for sure be happiness one way or another. So if we ask for, sometimes we ask for example, okay, easy, if we want to, we think that we want to marry this person, and then we make dua, and then we meet someone else, and then that person will make us happy anyway, because it wouldn't be like, oh, you don't get that person, then you'll be unhappy even though you marry someone else. That's I think that's an easy example. I don't know. I think there's other examples because sometimes you want one job. Say in company A, you look at the company, you say, wow, the pay is good, and the environment, the office is nice, very near to your house, or but you don't get a job in that company. You get a job in a small company, pays you a bit less. But actually, you found that your boss is very nice, and they buy you food every day, and maybe the place is very near to your house, and all this. But it will make you happy anyway. So sometimes you pray for something, you get something else, but it doesn't mean that it will be frustrating for us. The most, we have to look at it positively. Another doubt, yeah, Shaitan will also say, maybe you'll get it, but you won't enjoy it. Maybe it's not all what you think it is. Sometimes this comes to my mind as well, but I'm asking for this, I haven't got it. Maybe, but why would we, when we ask from Allah, usually we will ask so that it will be halal and good. So why would we be so doubtful? No, yeah. Then, because sometimes people do doubt doing the haram, looking for haram, but when it comes to halal, we doubt a lot. So we should push away these kinds of thoughts and make the dua anyway. Okay, doubt number 8. This is a very I know, Shaitan might whisper to you, maybe this is a divine trick. Allah will answer you, but it will be bad for you. But the answer to that doubt is, when Allah answers a genuine, sincere, pure-hearted dua, He blesses it. It will make you happy and be good for both your deen and dunya. And Allah does not play tricks with the believers. So we have to make sure that we are sincere in our dua, and we have to be pure-hearted. So whatever Allah gives, however Allah responds to our dua, is all good for us, not only for this world and for the akhirah. So yeah, whatever Allah gives for us will be good. And the last one, sometimes we wonder whether what we are asking for is too much. Sometimes we do ask for, and sometimes you want to get married to someone who's like good looking and nice and have taqwa and can cook and have a lot of money and everything. But it's not too much for Allah. You see, He owns everything, and He can give anything to anyone. So what? The universe is so big, and Allah owns all of this, and He can give all that we want and more. So even if we ask for someone who's like, oh, he's good looking to our eyes, and have iman and can be imam for us, and then he can cook and he can drive us to places. He's got a fixed job or got a lot of money, and then there's more than that.
Yes.
It is true. Like, why are we limiting ourselves? Like, for example, we want a good life. We want to have a nice job. Office is near, and we have a lot of free time. Or not free time. Yeah, we have a lot of weekends off, and the boss is nice. And what else is good? We get to travel while working, and we can ask for all that. Maybe Allah has more than that, and we can get all those kind of jobs and more. So why not? Why not ask for everything? Or maybe you ask for college, university. For example, you want to ask for a top university in Malaysia or in the UK, and then you have scholarship, and then you have good classmates, and then you have nice teachers, lecturers, and then you have money to buy books, and a house that is warm, and you have money to buy food as well. Well, just ask for Allah. He can give you all and more. So
Yes.
yes, and if you don't get one of it, maybe he will compensate with something else that is better, and he will make you
Yes.
happy, be able to live with that kind of condition. Yeah. So there's no asking too much for Allah. We are limiting ourselves, but we have a lot that we can give Allah. And I think if we list down what we can ask for, actually all our time will be consisting of du'as and asking Allah for a lot of things.
Yeah. This gives me hope. Like, yeah, we do for everything. It's never hard and impossible for Allah, right? Ask anything.
Ask for anything as long as it's not a sin, as long as
Yeah.
cutting ties through kinship, and what is one more thing? Yeah. So hopefully, when we ask from Allah, it will be through halal ways and ways and blessed ways. It won't be through haram. For example, if we ask for like good business, we have a business and we want to ask for, prosperity. So the prosperity wouldn't come from corruption, and wouldn't come from selling things haram, and wouldn't come from
Yeah.
it will come from good means, and sometimes even if it's not a lot as much as we think, we want to make 1 million ringgit every month, but
Mm.
start making maybe 100,000 ringgit, but still that 100,000 ringgit is probably better than that 1 million. So,
Yeah. True. True.
so even
Yeah.
if that 100,000 ringgit will make us happy, I mean like six figures.
Yes.
If
Yeah.
you're not,
Sometimes.
but yeah.
Sometimes when we make dua, we are looking on ourselves. Like we think it's hard for him to grant our wishes, and yeah, we limited his capability, but it's not. He's the
Because we are,
creator of the world
yes,
and all, right?
because
Yeah.
we of our capacity. We don't
Yeah.
think Allah's capacity, which is He could move clouds and planets and stars and
True.
move all things. So why can't He move us towards better things?
It's true.
But
That's true.
us is because it's impossible for us.
Yeah.
Because we know that we can't reach there. If we yeah,
Yeah.
if we can't do it ourselves, and
Yeah.
it's a matter of fact we cannot do it on our own. Or
Yeah.
if we do it on our own, probably we wouldn't be too successful. If we don't make dua, Ya Allah give me 1 million ringgit per month for my business. Uh, and then if we don't make that dua, maybe we make 5,000 ringgit. But if we make that dua, maybe we give us 100,000 ringgit. We don't know. So
Yeah.
a lot of things it's impossible for us to do without Allah's help. And we
Yes.
should thank Him.
Yeah. And it keeps our heart at peace when we know He can do anything. So, and He is in charge of everything. So, actually, we don't have to control everything around us. With His help, inshallah, He will do on our behalf, right? Because there are so many things that are happening, and sometimes we feel anxiety and we feel overwhelming with all the things that happen. But with the belief that He is in control and He will help us, inshallah. He will keep us in peace, inshallah. Okay, Sister Maria, my questions. Here comes the Q&A session. If you guys have any questions to ask Sister Maria, you can drop your questions on the comment section below. So let us start with my question first. So today, Sister Maria talk about Al-Samad, Al-Qarib, and Al-Mujib. So when you talk about As-Samad, As-Samad is the eternal refuge. You know, He is the shelter. So be dependent on Him. But what about these two extreme scenarios where one is being so complacent and the other one is oh, I'm successful. All this effort, all this successful is because of me, because of myself. And the other one is, oh, Allah will do everything for me. If Allah will, if Allah will. So, what are the tips or advice for us to not be in those two extreme situations? For us to always be in a moderate situation, meaning we still make our effort, but at the same time, we still depend on Him. Yeah.
Okay. My one sentence answer is listen to Sheikh Yasir Qadi's tafsir of.
Okay.
Okay, but that's the gist of it. But what I'm going to tell you is what I got from that from the series. It's on
Mm.
YouTube, so anyone can hear
Sister
it. It's
Maria, what's the title? Sorry.
Surah Al-Kahfi, tafsir of Surah
Okay.
Al-Kahfi. Yep, by Sheikh Yasir Qadi. This is where I learned about a lot of things actually. But it's he has the book, but the lectures actually contain more things than the book itself.
Mm.
I listened to the lectures first, I think back in 2016, and I just bought the book recently. And when I compared between the book and the lecture, I think the lecture has more contents and more explanation as compared to the book, although
Mm.
it's almost the same. But okay, talking about depending on Allah and maintaining the balance. Okay, for the first story in Surah Al-Kahf is the story about the young man who ran off to the cave to seek protection for their iman. Thing is, this is the example of trying to do something for yourself first, while depending on Allah as well. Because the young man took some money, because they had money with them. They had money with them when they ran away to the cave. Sheikh Yasir said maybe there are children of some well-to-do people. They were young and they were persecuted. They did not just let themselves be persecuted and murdered by the king at that time, but they ran off to the cave for protection. This is this is their effort on their part. So after that, Allah protected them because of their small effort, because of their running to the cave to protect their faith. So this is an example of putting a bit of effort and then Allah will do the rest. So Allah made them sleep for 309 years. And when they woke up, they went to the city and they found that they are actually from another, time period because of the money and the way they dress.
Yeah.
So that is about making an effort. So even in something like that, you know, we even if we are sincere in protecting our faith, we have to make an effort first before while asking Allah to protect our faith as well. Because these days there's a lot of um, we can protect our house, but things get into our house and our rooms from the internet. We can see anything from around the world. We can see whatever videos we want, whatever movies we want, and whatever level of profanity that we can,
Mm.
and the corruption that we can see.
Yeah.
Will all influence us, but it's up to us to protect ourselves. So we and our children as well, because we can't we can't protect everyone all the time. We can't put our children in the house and not let them go out and see the and we can't deny other people to express their faith or anything. But we have to make our effort, educate ourselves, make du'as, and make sure we spread good words about Islam to other people, and educate our children and family, and depend on Allah for the outcome. Because sometimes I see people like they want to try and talk. Like there's one time in PG there was a church that has a big cross outside, and there's a group of Muslims wanted to bring down that cross because apparently it disturbs their faith and everything. But I've been overseas and I don't find that just looking at churches left, right, and center make me want to be a Christian. No, right? Because in at the end of the day, it's what is inside us that is protecting us, and of course we ask Allah for His help to protect our faith as well. So this is about we need to make sure that we are educated in our religion first, so that no matter where we go, no matter how people try to influence us, we still have our faith back. So that is about making effort. About and another extreme is about saying that it's all our effort, and you know uh, that is from stories of the two men, and the man with the two gardens. When Allah in a few ayat, he explained that he planted give this man the two gardens with a river in between, and then there is grape plants, and on the sides there is um, tamal, right? The date trees, date palms around, because grape plants are very fragile, and the date palms are very strong. So those date palms are actually protecting the grape vines from being damaged. And this man has a lot of children, and the children can help in the farm, and the farm is very successful. And all that Allah explained about what He has done to give this man prosperity. But this man went into the garden and said, "This is all my effort, and I have more children than you. I have more things than you." But in the end, Allah damaged it in just one day, and he regretted saying that. And his friend, the other man, said that why did you, or why were you, why were you shirk to Allah? Why were you associating partners? Why were you too proud of yourself? And yeah, and You should have gone into his garden and say, "Mashallah la quwwata illa billah," but instead he was too proud of himself. So that is the lesson about saying that it's only our efforts that matter. Um, I just need to recall because last 2 weeks ago we talked about risk and gifts. And yes, we sometimes the effort that we make is big. Sometimes a lot of things. Like for example, if you're studying and working, you have to divide your time and you know after working sometimes not just 9 to 5 but sometimes 7 to 7, and then you have to go home and make sure you eat good food and study, maybe wake up early at 3 o'clock 4 o'clock, and then you start studying, and then you spend a lot of money paying for your exam fees and that. You go for classes on weekends, and you go for discussions with your colleagues or your friends. Those are all a lot of sacrifices, and at the end Allah bless you with the success. But um but yes, although this is our effort, but we have to remember that Allah gifted us more, because on the background, yes, we worked and we studied and we paid for our professional exams, for example. But at the same time, Allah gave us health. Allah gave us the brains, the mind to think, and the eyes to see, to read. And Allah gave us the health that we need to work on the daytime and then sleep and then wake up in the morning. Allah give us comfort. Allah give us the ability to stay motivated despite all that. These are all gifts from Allah, and Allah gives definitely more than our effort. And maybe sometimes, I have a lot of friends who work and study and have children, and sometimes their children are not normal children, they are unhealthy. Like some have autistic children, but they study and they graduated from their masters and everything. But yes, of course, it is their effort. But Allah help them with, sometimes parents take care of their children. They have a good nursery that they can send their kids, and the kids were well taken care of. Not everyone gets a good babysitter.
Yeah.
Good babysitter doesn't come cheap. So, and you have a good and cheap babysitter is a gift from Allah. And these are all, even though, yes, our effort is to study and to stay up and make coffee and everything, but at the end of the day, Allah's gifts is more than that. So no matter what we say, we think we do, no matter how much sacrifices we think we made, it's not possible without Allah's help.
Yeah.
So at the end, we have to attribute everything to Allah and be thankful that we have the chance to make that.
Yeah. So we think we make all the efforts and sacrifices, but He is the one who lead us to the success, right? All the means He has given us, that actually plays a big role in our life. Thank you, Sister Maria, for the beautiful answer. Okay, I have another question on. Actually, I would like to ask about if you have any advice for people who feel hopeless when we are making dua to Allah and we see that Allah didn't help us, but you have answered it with the 9 points on doubts in making dua and with the beautiful answers. Thank you so much on that. But my question is still about dua. We talk a lot about dua. Yes, we want to say all of our Allah names in the dua that we make so that we feel more relatable to it. But we're in Ramadan. There are lots of time that are good for us to make dua, right? The rain, the sahur, the iftar. But how do we plan our dua? Sometimes I believe that we have to plan to make dua, because sometimes when the times come, then you are like, what shall I ask? Suddenly rain comes down and then you, okay, what shall I ask? the iftar, 10 minutes more, what shall I ask? You know, so, and we have so many things to ask. Do you have any tips for us to plan our dua and like, or you share your own experience on the dua that you make?
Uh, yes and no, because sometimes I plan ahead for just one day. And is because I've been asking the same thing and it hasn't happened, so I'm continuing with the dua. I pause it. Or maybe I ask for this as well within that dua. So um okay. There are a few sources of du'as. Number one is the Quran,
Mm,
the hadith, and
yep.
number three is right.
Mm,
So and there are some Quranic du'as that I memorize and some
mm,
I put it in the memory of my phone.
mm,
So um so usually if in the morning I will do my usual du'as because those are the most important ones for me.
mm,
Um For other time, sometimes it rains when we're doing something. Like for example, it rains at 4 something, 5 o'clock after asar, right? So that's when we started to cook and prepare our iftar. Or maybe traveling home from work.
yeah.
And so those are the times, sometimes I just repeat the same thing like the dua of Nabi Ayub,
Mm,
Nabi Yunus. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minadh dhalimin. I think that dua, when repeated many times, it gives a lot of peace of mind. So whenever the time comes and we're not ready, not prepared, I just repeat those dua. Um, because that dua is not only just praising Allah, um, acknowledging that Allah is one, and we are making tawbah as well. We are saying that we have wronged ourselves. So it's a perfect dua to make when you are caught not ready.
yes.
That's one of us that is, if I say this, only good will come out of it anyway. So, and I think there was one ayat, just for me yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, about seeking forgiveness. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "The one who regularly seeks forgiveness, Allah will relieve him of every burden and make from every discomfort an outlet, and He will provide for him for sources he never could imagine." So basically, whatever we have made duas after our salat, in the morning, or when we are seated with our dua book or anything. But for the rest of the time, when we were not sure, or we didn't know that it was a good time, then we just ask for forgiveness, and maybe things will happen according to what's the best for us. So that's one of the things. I'll just repeat one or two duas. If I'm caught unaware suddenly, or maybe I'm traveling and then suddenly it rains, like, okay, now what should? Yeah, I'll just repeat one or two duas that is the most important for me, or or maybe Astaghfirullahalazim, or Prophet Yunus duas. Um,
Yes.
And of course, it's good to write down our du'as in a book so that whenever we are at home, we can reach for the book when uh, before iftar or after salat. And the most important du'as are the ones that I memorize. Like for example, during tarawih, we do get two rakaat, right? So every second rakaat we make du'a. And then the next tarawih, the second rakah, we make dua. So at least we have 8 or 21 duas. we can repeat our sujud.
Yeah.
Um, and those are the kinds of things that I will divide my du'as within between the tarawih rakaat, the tarawih sujud, because when you want to sujud for so long, it will be aching and painful. So it's just divide everything. Sometimes what I do is every sujud, the sujud I will make this du'a, next sujud I will make like sometimes it's just repentance, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because important for us to acknowledge our faults as well, and not just asking Allah for what we need, but I think the most important thing is we need to clean ourselves from our sins. Another one is to praise Allah and be grateful of what He gave. That's also one of the things that I try to do. Sometimes the whole Tarawih is just saying all praise gratitude to Allah uh, for just whatever that you think crosses your mind, like for example, parents, for family, for the love in the family. Then the next sujud, you say thanks for your um, for your house and your car, materialistic things, but it's still something that we need to be thankful of. And then the third sujud, we say thanks to Allah for our friends and for our colleagues and for our maybe a peaceful country, things like that. And those are the things that is important as well. Um, yeah, that's sort of it. Like last time
Okay.
for Umrah, I think every tawaf 7 times, so each round is a different doa. So every dua is repeated in the same, or sometimes it's the same concept. Okay, so this round is for parents. This round is for family. This round is for friends and rumah, and another round is for myself, or things like that. That's how I usually divide, and it's easier to remember.
Yeah. True. But it's important to plan our dua in apa certain situation, right?
Because
If
sometimes
it yes, itu Maria?
you sit down and plan and write, sometimes you forget.
Yeah.
Then suddenly, I didn't pray for that person. I didn't pray for this. I forgot for that.
Yeah. Allah. Inshallah. Okay, I saw a question from the comment section from fifiplanner.mytherapy. Assalamualaikum. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm not sure whether this question has been asked, but I would like to ask, do you agree that if we write and curate our dua will help in order to make sure we can make dua smoothly?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yes. Do you agree that if we write and curate our dua will help in order to make sure we can make dua smoothly?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, inshallah. Because, yeah, like you said, planning is good for us. And then if we don't plan, then we are caught unawares and then
Mm.
know what to say.
Yes. But if but it shouldn't stop you from making dua, right? If like suddenly rain and whatnot, just say anything that in your heart.
Yes, because Allah is near and He knows what is inside our heart as well.
Yes. Yes, mashallah. Okay, I have another questions to ask. I think dua is very important for us Muslim. You know, it's said that it is a weapon for us Muslim. Uh, so when you point out all the 9 points of the doubt that we might have when we're making dua, the doubts that shaitan tries to instill on us, uh, it gives how to say it make me worries actually to have all these doubts when making dua, but at the same time dua is very important for us. So uh, do you have any advice to the Muslims today on, you know, like you mentioned, to make effort to plant the faith in our heart deeply, you know, so that other things won't shatter you. Yeah. So do you have any advice for us to, you know, it's not istiqomah, but to keep on seeking knowledge, to keep on believing in him, you know, to don't stop with what we have right now.
Mm,
Like, what's your motivation that keeps you going?
okay. I think well, everyone has their ups and downs, and because all of us have our doubts, and sometimes strong faith, and then sometimes strong doubt. You know,
Yeah.
like that, and I have those times as well. Um, because I think whenever doubt comes, and then suddenly something like that Dr. Shadi mentioned, like, because I was thinking about something and it hasn't happened. I was praying for something that hasn't happened, but then suddenly something else happened that I didn't really like, and it confused me. And then I was like doubtful. So is this what I'm going to have, and is it really going to make me happy and everything? But exactly at that time, I read that particular article. So I was like, wow, Allah is just telling me to continue making du'as. So
Mm.
yeah. So I was happily making du'as, and I wasn't confused anymore. But what keeps us going? I don't know, what should I say. um I think maybe that's why Allah hasn't answered some of my du'as, because He wants to keep me asking and looking for answers, and in the meantime uh we whenever our du'as are not answered, or things don't go our way, the first thing that we need to do is to look into ourselves and see what else we can improve, uh, in that. What we can improve in our lives. We look back, what wrong have we done to other people, and what wrong have we done to Allah, and we make a lot of repentance. And at the same time, we learn how to be a better person. So this looking back into ourselves is making du'as. Doesn't look like it's responded. So and then we look into ourselves again. So this is a continuous circle, and Allah will respond on His terms whenever the time is right, and whenever we are more ready for it. Maybe sometimes, well, for example, children. Sometimes some people have difficulty to have children. It takes a long time. Married for 4, 5 years, 7 years, not having children yet. But they keep on asking Allah for help. But on that journey, they will be wondering, why is Allah doesn't seem to be answering my prayers.
Mm.
Same time, usually these people, they will try to look into themselves, and
Mm.
maybe I've done this before, and maybe I should make tawbah, maybe I should say sorry to this person,
Mm.
and religion, and learn more about Allah's attributes. And then one day suddenly Allah gives you what you want, or what you need at the right time, because you're ready at that time. So the motivation is probably sometimes unanswered du'as. Maybe that's the only way that Allah can make me do things.
True.
No story. Yeah, and it's still going on, and I'm still searching for it. Okay. because I know that yes, it's been this particular personal dua I've been making for a few years, and last year I realized that if it was granted it back in 2019, last year would have been terrible for me. It wasn't answered yet. But I'm still confident that it's something impossible, but I'm still confident that
Okay. Okay, you're talking about confident in making dua. So it sparked something in my head. So uh uh in the book when we talk about Al-Qarib, Al-Mujib and As-Samad, it says that uh it says about uh you have to be confident in making your dua, if I'm not mistaken, because he is the one who spark how to say this the intention of you making dua is actually from Allah. So don't think that he won't answer your prayers, right?
yes,
So it's very important to have confidence in making dua too, right?
yeah.
Yeah, inshallah. Okay, so okay, I think it's my last question. I don't see any question from our audience, but thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. So my last question is: we have gone through few names of Allah, and from my experience, personally in Publica, we've opened booth in Publica from 19 to yesterday, 8 May. Uh, to whom would you like to recommend this book? Because what I observe is people are scared to take this book and read because it's too thick. But I'll make sure to explain to the customers that come to our booth that don't be scared to read this book because it has so many gems in it. Uh, so yes, to whom would you like to recommend this book to?
Actually, I would recommend this to anyone, because we all need to know Allah, and we need to know Allah from people who already know Allah, and they have
Mm,
learned from the right people,
yeah.
and they have seek knowledge from the right source.
Yeah.
This series of names of Allah actually has been there for about 10 years online, and
Mm.
swahib.com. So I trust this source, and I think it is very important for all of us to learn about the names of Allah. Don't be scared about the size. Yes, it is 523, 20 plus pages, and I myself haven't finished reading this book. I've only gone halfway. But the language is simple. It's in English, but the language is simple, and they have simple examples. Basically, our daily life example. What if your friend like this? What if parents like this? Imagine someone's car broke down. Imagine someone's, gifted us car, but we crash it into his house.
Mm.
Things like that is easy examples that we can relate to in our everyday life. So I would recommend this for everyone, because once we know Allah and we have more faith in Him, and we will depend more on Him, and we will find that it's more liberating to
Yes.
depend on Allah rather than,
Yes. True.
of course, we need human beings as well. That's why Allah taught us how to,
Yeah.
how to be friends or how to treat other people well. But at the same time, yes, because we all need to know Allah to be a better Muslim and to be a better human being.
Yes.
I think for
All
everyone. Yeah, it
okay.
feels scary, but it's actually, you can read it like once a week or once a day, or 2 chapters a week is okay, but just be consistent, and you will
Inshallah.
finish the book.
Inshallah. I mean, thank you so much, Sister Maria, for the beautiful sharing. Uh, yeah, I feel peace. Alhamdulillah. Before we conclude our session, Sister Maria, do you have any last word?
Mm, yeah, just continue making that dua, because Allah is near. Allah responds to us. and we only have him to depend on, and we have nothing to lose in
Yeah.
making. That's
MashaAllah.
what years. Should I make this dua? Should I make that dua? No, you should make that dua because you
Mm.
have, even if we don't see it here, we will see it in the akhirah. Because making duas, Allah gives us reward for making dua itself. It shows our trust in Him. It signifies that we know Him, and we understand that He is powerful, and that we understand His, shows that we understand. So yeah, keep on making that dua. Really, we have nothing to lose.
Yeah. When make when making dua, it's not about just the things that we ask, but the relationship we have built with Him, right? Inshallah. Okay, so that's about it, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for sparing your time with us on this beautiful morning. We have few days to finish our Ramadan, inshallah. I have few announcements to make. The first one is our booth at Publica. It's supposed to be today is the last day, 9 May, but due to MCO, we have to close yesterday. So yes, don't come to Publica and search for our booth. Number two is we still have Ramadan promotions on our website till 12 May, inshallah. Uh, get get whatever you need, inshallah, to prepare for Idul Fitri or to accompany you during these last days of Ramadan. Yeah, I think that's about it. And please keep us in your prayers. Keep the Ummah in your prayers. Make a lot of dua. We have nothing to lose in making dua, inshallah. Thank you so much, Sister Maria. Thank you so much to all of you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and take care, everyone. Bye.